this is Tammy from Tammy Colors 2, and today we are on video number 6 of my watercolor pencils collection. Thank you for watching, thank you for showing up, and I hope you enjoyed this series. So we are almost done with my watercolor pencils. We're, like I said, we're on set number 6, and these are technically not watercolor pencils. First, I should say I am co-hosting Watercolor Summer with Michelle from Kits and Caboodles, so make sure you post any watercolor like water-based mediums, like markers, water-based markers, watercolor pencils, watercolor paint, Inktense, let's see what else, I can't remember, but anything that's a water-based medium you can, and you use part or all on a picture. So the hashtag is Watercolor Summer 2023. I will put it in the description, and it's a lot of fun. So I like to see everybody's pictures. So today we're doing Derwent Inktense. Now these are available in pencil form. You can get Derwent Inktense blocks, which look like pastel sticks. I do not have any. And then you can get paint pans. These are the pencil form. They come in 72 colors, although until they only came in 72 colors until a couple of months ago, where they released 28 more colors. And so now there are 100. I do not have the new colors yet, as they are not available in the United States. So, Inktense are by Derwent. They are a beautiful pencil. Blue is my favorite color, so of course I'm a little partial. They have like a gold writing, and I say they're a little bit fatter than like a normal colored pencil, but not much. They work like a colored pen, or they work like a watercolor pencil, but the ink is permanent. They're ink based, so when you put them down, they stay. You can't move them around, whereas watercolor pencils, you can, you know, if later you wanted to try to move around some color, you can, but these you can't. They're permanent. So, and there are different ways to put them down. You can put them down directly from the pencil. You can take the color from the pencil. I've done like a lot of different ways with these. They're the first thing I used an alcohol blender on to blend. And that got me started with that. There, you can use the water-based blenders, and you can also use a water brush. So we have all of those today. The colors are just gorgeous. I have had my pencils for a couple years. I use them a lot. You don't have to sharpen them. A little bit goes a long way, we'll put it that way. So they're not cheap. However, they have come down in price a lot in the last couple years, and they are totally worth the investment, in my opinion. Let me grab a palette, because I forgot one of the techniques I use. Okay, so I have pulled some colors. They have a nice set of colors, as you can see, and the new colors are really pretty. So get that out of the way. I have pulled my colors that are hopefully similar. I just put them in with my watercolor pencils because to me they're kind of the same thing. I mean, they're a pencil, they're, you know, they look like a watercolor pencil, they work the same way, it's just that the ink is permanent. So let's zoom in to here, and we'll get started. Ooh. So like normal, we will do, I'm going to turn it a little bit sideways. So I'm going to start, and I am funny with these. I worry that I'm going to use too much because a little bit goes a long way, and then I never use enough, which is just hilarious. And of course, you could use them with treated paper or not treated paper. I have had it, they're a little bit, I think, intimidating. Because when I first got them, I was kind of afraid to use them. Need to get my brush wet. Okay, so I'm gonna go from the light color, and they just, when you put water on them, the color just totally brightens. And this is just a water brush. I'll try to use a couple different techniques on the petals here. All right, let me try. I think I pulled, yeah, we'll use thistle and fuchsia. Is this my fuchsia? Yeah. So let's see. So pretty. I love these colors. All right. So we're gonna do, I don't use them. I typically do not use them direct on the paper. I think just because that's me. It's just how I learned to use them. All the ways are useful. Let's see, so we're gonna put some back here. But ever since I got these, I have really, really enjoyed having them. They open up a whole new world for you. So let's see. And I never use enough color with these. I mean, the colors I get are beautiful, but I always feel like I'm too light-handed. I think because I'm afraid I'm going to put down too much. So, and you can't erase them as long as they're dry. You can erase what's there. But see the difference in the color? Look at that. When you wet them, it's just such a stark difference. In what they look like. So we'll wet these up here. And they're just beautiful. I mean, the results that you get are just gorgeous. All right, so there's that. So I can also take the tip of the pencil, if I can do this, and pull some color off like that, and put it on. And the reason I like doing that is I can control, I feel like I control the color I get more that way. Let's put a little dark. You can do this with watercolor pencils too. I just typically don't. I usually only do it with these. I think because these are so powerful. And then I'll grab a little bit more from this. And we will blend them together. I kind of suck at blending. But, and then we'll do some from here. Just put it down right there. So that's another way I do it. All right, then let's see. So the other way I use these is I will take a palette like this, and this is my thistle. And I will put some down like that. And then this is the fuchsia. I'll just scratch some on, and then I'll put some water like that. Mix them together, and then that way if I want to make the color lighter, I can just add more water. And then I pick it up from there and put it on my picture, like so. And then it can be lighter, because sometimes I want like a really light color, and then I'll just that way I can flood it with water and get like really, really pretty light color. So let's use my pink, my fuchsia. These are one of the most versatile mediums that there are. So that is normally how I do these. That way, or just I love the bright colors that you get. Oops. Now that'll dry. Okay. Let me get some purple and put here. See how I'm making that really light? Just a little bit of color. Oh, this is untreated paper, so it does soak up the ink tints rather quickly. I mean, you can move it around some while it's still wet. All right, so we have that. And the nice thing is, you know, when this dries, I can still re-wet it and use it some more. So it's, you know, really cool. I mean, like watercolor pencils are the same. If they dry, you can re-wet them also. But they're not permanent on the palette, just on the paper. Although they will stain after a while, the palettes, because I've had some that have had that on there for a while. All right, so let's do, we'll do an alcohol blender next. So we will put a little bit of color. Let me find my pencils. We'll put some here. Let's see, what did I say? Alcohol blender. Oops, my pencils are still kind of wet from, I probably should have done that last. If I was thinking. I forgot, because I don't normally do it that way. A lot of people do that. That's not, taking it from the pencil is not my normal mode of anything for whatever reason. I think I'd rather scratch it down on a palette. So I'll just put some down, put down some color. They dry really at the same rate as watercolor pencils. We'll do like 3. I have some really pretty flowers by the time I get done, right? I wanted to do a flower that was big enough, you know, to really show some things, but All right, so we will get my alcohol blender. Make sure it's clean. All right, so I always do the light color because I don't want to pull the dark color in. Now you will move the color some, but not as much. And these will, you will notice more. You'll notice how these don't move as much, they don't blend as much, but it gives you a nice contrast, and it's really nice to use on paper that doesn't do water. I mean, this is what I learned this technique on, was Inktense, and then I just started applying it to other things, because why not? But you really do get a difference in the colors this way. And it allows you some flexibility on types of paper, because, you know, you're using a medium that isn't, or a blender that isn't soaking your paper, right? And they're pretty easy to get off of your alcohol blender too. They're not hard. And I like the effect this gives, so. Although pretty much you don't have to worry as much, like, it's not like these, like where you're gonna pull the color. It pretty much stays put, but you can pull it a little bit, because you do get stuff on your thing. So we'll see when that dries. Clean off my blender. So then we'll do the Tombow blender. My pencil is still wet. I should be able to pull quite a bit with the Tombow, so you don't really have to cover it as much with the pencil, because you can pull the color. I think we call it quick and dirty. All right, so here is my Tombow blender. Make sure I cleaned it off. I try, but I don't always do that. Okay. Here we go. It's pretty much the same as a water brush. See, I'm pulling the color and blending it. The alcohol marker doesn't pull it. It is probably the most different. See how I just really, really like all these options that you have with these. And now that they have 100 colors, not that you couldn't mix them. I mean, I have mixed colors before. It's awesome. Let's see, let me pull this one this way. So the colors are really blending together. And you can really see the difference between the alcohol and the water and this. More so than the other pencils that I've used. So just to show you, like, here's my cleaning paper, so, well, I didn't have as much on there, but you can see you get some on there, so you can pull that around, use it somewhere else. So there's that. Now I just have to do my leaves, which per normal I'll probably do, I don't know. I'm gonna do it with my alcohol blender. I might, yeah, well, I'll do one with my alcohol blender and one with my Tombow blender. And definitely do the stem with my Tombow blender. You do have to be careful with Inktense. You really need to test them in your book, because watercolors don't bleed through that much, but Inktense will sometimes, depending on how much you get on the paper, because they're very strong. I mean, usually it's the darker colors that do it, but yeah, you do need to be wary of how much you're putting down, because I have seen them bleed through paper if you want to use them on double-sided books, because they are useful for double-sided books. All right, so let me make sure that and I bought a set of, you can buy a pack of, these are Meeden. You can buy a pack of Meeden. If you want a brush tip, Art and Fly sells their alcohol blenders, where you can see that's what I use these for. There's 3 in a pack of these. They have a chisel and a brush. So if you want a brush tip blender, you can buy these Art and Fly ones. And then the Meeden comes in a 6-pack, a 5 or 6-pack. I just bought them because when I learned this technique, I knew I was going to use my blenders, and I didn't want to ruin all my blenders. And I've had these for at least a year, and I use them all the time. And they have done me pretty well. We'll use them on the stem because we don't want to. And you do want to make sure you activate all the color, because if you get it wet again, then you'll end up with Inktense pulling where you don't want it to. But that's true with all of your watercolor media. I think the Inktense are harder to get off of your blenders than anything else. I mean, the alcohol blender, it seems to be, wants to hang on to your alcohol blender. Okay, this is a Tombow blender we're going to use here. See which one everybody likes. And then you can always shade with pencil. All right, so we will let this dry because that's still a little wet while the alcohol is dry. So we'll let that dry a little bit, and then we will go over here because we have been testing also. I can zoom out here on this Stained Glass Flowers, which is a Jade Summer book that came out a few years ago, and that way you can see how things work on Amazon paper. And this is the old, rough, black-backed, grayish colored Amazon paper. So I think it's a good tester. I'm trying to make sure I got all my stuff out. Okay, so we will put this one here. All right, so no, we'll put it here, because then we'll put the last medium over on this side. So so we will do it like this. Get some fuchsia. I don't think I've ever used these on Amazon paper. Probably because I never think about it. You know, usually in my Amazon books, I'm coloring with alcohol markers. So we'll just put some color down and see what this looks like, because I'm not sure I really know. I don't think I would think to use Inktense in, on Amazon paper, because I'm sure this, I don't know, we'll see how far it pulls. Okay, we're gonna start on this side, and I'm gonna do my water-based blender over here, and just for technique's sake, I'll pull down. Not bad. It does blend. Look at that. And I dopied. Look at this. Get that off of there. I can clean those better in a minute. Then in the middle, we will do a water brush. Oop, hang on. I need to start at the top where the lighter color is. So not bad. And then, because this paper just soaks up water, and we will do alcohol blender right here. Those colors are going to be dark. Look how dark they are. All right. That didn't take long. Okay, I can tell you the Inktense soaked into the paper because there wasn't much on this blender. All right. Oh, I didn't turn my other light on. Does it make a difference? A little bit. All right, so that needs to dry. Let's see how this one is doing. It's almost dry. So you can kind of see, like, I feel like I need a brighter light. You know, here you can see the colors, and these are all of them, because these were my Arteza. Oh, yeah, I should label it. These are, oh, I didn't, well, we can label both of these, because I realized I didn't label that one the other day. So these are the Derwent Inktense, and these are the Derwent ink. All right. Such a difference in all the mediums, all the different types of pencils we've been using. So that's fun. Thank you for watching. I hope this was useful. So the last set will be my Neocolor 2s, which are like a crayon, but I use them more like watercolor pencils, sort of. They're kind of in a class by themselves, but to me, they're more, excuse me, like watercolor pencils. And we'll see what this looks like when it dries. I mean, the alcohol, look how dark that is. I mean, these colors in these pencils are just so pigmented. The center is not dry, but the other sides are dry pretty much. So you can see where I did the water-based and the other water there. So that's really cool. Oh yeah, I need to label that too. So this one is my, we'll just put Inktense down that one. The last is Neocolor 2. All right, well, thank you for watching. I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.